All right, mathematicians, grade 4, lesson 8.4. We're going to multiply a fraction or a mixed number by a whole number. We're going to get right into our word problem now and put together all of the information that we've learned up to this point. So here's our first word problem. Christina is planning a dance routine. At the end of each measure of music, she will make a 1 1/4 turn. How many turns will she make after the first 3 measures of music? Well, first of all, I'm going to ask a couple of quick questions. Will Christina make more or less than 1 1/4 turns in 3 measures of music? Let's think about that. Well, of course she's going to make more. You're right. What operation do you think you can use to solve this problem? All right, let's try multiplication. What information do you know? All right, so let's go back and take a look. I know that Christina is going to be making, at the end of each measure, after each measure, a 1 1/4 turn. That's important. I also know that we're looking at the first 3 measures of music. That's going to be important. And what am I trying to find out? I'm trying to find out how many turns she will make. Okay, so you think we're going to do multiplication. Let's figure out how we can write 1 1/2 as a fraction. All right, first of all, I know that there's going to be 3 measures of music, and I'm going to multiply 3 measures of music times 1 1/4 turn at the end of each one of those measures of music. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 1/4 and I'm going to convert that into a fraction. All right, so I'll have 3 times 1 1/4 is actually 5/4 because I know I can multiply my denominator times my whole number and then add my numerator, and I keep my fraction denominator the same. Now I've gone from 3 times 1 1/4 to 3 times 5/4. So let's see what that is. 3 times 5/4 equals 15/4. All right, so you know what? I think I'm going to need to write some kind of model here to help me visualize this. So 15/4. 15/4 is actually going to look like what? Let's take a look. I'm going to create something. All right, so I know that I could take 15/4 and make a number sentence using my unit fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and circle every 4/4 so I know how many holes I have here. So 15/4 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 1. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 2 holes. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 3 holes. Oh look, plus 3/4. 15/4 equals 3 3/4. So Christina is going to make 3 3/4 turns. So Christina will make 3 3/4 turns by the end of her first 3 measures of music. That's what we can expect. Let's go back and look at that as a number sentence. So we started off with 3 times 1/4. We converted our 1 1/4 to 5/4. We multiplied that times 3 to get our 15/4, which is an improper fraction. Then we took a look at the unit fractions, 15 1/4, and we converted that back to a mixed number of 3 3/4. So 3 times 1 1/4 equals 15/4, which equals 3 3/4. All right, boys and girls, let's go on and try another one. In this situation, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and write 8 1/4 as a fraction. Now, I'm pretty sure that you can do this, but I want to take you through it just slowly, just to make sure that we have each step. So 8 1/5 equals the same as 8 plus 1/5. And I'm going to break this down for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I can take my 8 and say 8 times 1 plus 1/5. Same thing as 8 plus 1/5. But my goal is to turn 8 1/5 into a fraction. So I've got to think to myself, what fraction can I multiply times 8? Oh yeah, I've got to remember, I'm using a denominator of 5. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 5 over 5. I'm still going to add that 1/5 out here, don't forget that, because I'm trying to get 8 1/5 to look like a fraction. So 8 times 5 over 5 equals 40 fifths plus 1/5. Remember, I am multiplying. So 40 fifths plus 1/5 equals 41 fifths. 8 1/5 equals the same as 41 fifths. So I've just written 8 1/5 as a fraction. Now, I'm going to ask you to try another thing. We've been working with improper fractions, and this time I'm going to take the fraction 32 fifths, and I want to write it as a mixed number. So what am I really doing? So first I'm going to find out how many groups of 5 fifths are in 32 fifths. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take 32, and I'm going to divide 32 by 5. 32 is my numerator, divided by 5 is my denominator. I know that there are 6 5s. Let's see, 6 5s are in 30, so let me go ahead and check. Remember, Dracula, that was my division. Must, which is my multiplication, 6 times 5. Sock, which is my subtraction. Drink blood. Okay, Dracula, must, blood. Oh, I can't bring down anything. 2 is my remainder, so let's take a look. Oops, 2 is my remainder. Now I'm going to take 6 with the remainder of 2, and I'm going to turn that into a fraction. So 30, I know that my quotient becomes my whole number, and my numerator is my remainder, and my denominator is my divisor, and it stays the same. So I have my quotient, my remainder, my denominator. So I can say that 32 fifths is the same as 6 2 fifths. So boys and girls, I've taken a mixed number and converted that into a fraction. And I've just taken a fraction, which is an improper fraction, and converted that to a mixed number. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try a multiplication problem with these. Let's try this. I want to try 5 times 2 2/3 equals. In this situation, what do you think is the best thing for me to do? I want to solve this. Okay, you're right. I'm going to take 2 2/3 and I'm going to convert that 2 2/3 mixed number into a fraction. So it would be 5 times, what would my mixed number be? You're right. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8/3. I'm going to convert 2 2/3, my mixed number, into a fraction 8/3. Then I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 5 times 8/3 equals, well, I'm going to multiply 5 times 8 is 40, and of course my denominator stays the same, 40/3. Now I have that improper fraction. Now what I have to do is say, what is the mixed number? So I've got to think, how many 3's are in 39? All right, let's go ahead, get over here. 39. 1 times 3 is 3, minus 3 is 1. Bring down. Okay. My 3, there are, okay, whoops. Hello, Mrs. Kennedy. Got to bring down the right numbers. Boom, 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 0. There are 3, 9. Okay, I've got a remainder of 1. So I know that 40 thirds equals 13 and 1/3. So 5 times, 5 times 2 and 2/3 equals 13 and 1/3. In this situation, I took my mixed number, I converted it into an improper fraction. I took my improper fraction and I converted that back to a mixed number. Let's try again. All right, we're going to write the product as a mixed number. Here's our equation. 6 times 2/5 equals, okay, I've got my whole number. I'm going to multiply my whole number times my numerator. My numerator is 2. 6 times 2 is 12/5. I know that 12/5, 5 wasn't a 12, 2 times and 2/5. So 6 times 2/5 must equal 2 and 2/5. Let's try another one. Here's my next one. 2 times 1 5/6. Oh, Mrs. Kennedy. Now I'm multiplying a whole number times a mixed number. I have to convert my whole number. Okay, so it's 2 times 6. So I'm going to take 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5 is 11. 2 times 11/6 equals 22/6. 6 goes into 22 3 times with 4 left over. So 2 times 1 5/6 equals 3 4/6. So in this situation, boys and girls, in our first example, I multiplied a whole number times a fraction. In my second situation, I multiplied my whole number times a mixed number. All right, I'm going to give you some examples to try for homework. Here we go. All right, so here are your homework problems. I want you to write the product as a mixed number in the following equations. So I'm going to have you do 4 times the fraction 5/8 equals. Number 2 is 6 times the fraction 5/12 equals. Number 3 is 2 times the mixed number 2 and 2/3 equals. And the fourth one is 4 times the mixed number 2 and 2/5 equals. Boys and girls, remember, what you're doing is you're multiplying by a whole number by a fraction and a whole number times a mixed number. Good luck. See you tomorrow.